Hey guys, here's the word problem for Spiral 12's review. This is about Jasmine and Jafar jumping off platforms and being modeled by an equation. Okay, first part asks, what does h equals 0 mean? If the height is 0, it means that they are on the ground. And if they're on the ground, that means that they have landed and that they have reached the ground. This is going to be important later. This is a really important concept that we're going to see over and over again. Part B, t equals 0. Well, if t is the seconds after the jump, t equals 0 is right before they jump. That's an important concept for us to understand too. So I'm going to keep asking that type of question over and over again. The answer will pretty much always be the same as far as something that we can work with. Okay. See how high is each of them after 1 second. So for Jasmine, that means that t equals 1. I'm going to plug that in. So h is equal to negative 4.91 squared plus 3 times 1 plus 7. So it'd be negative 4.9 plus 3 plus 7, which when you add those together you get 5.1, and I think this is in meters, although I don't think I say that in the problem. For Jafar, at t equals 1, and again, that literally means we just have to plug this in. We're looking at h equals negative 4.9 times 1 squared plus 5 times 1 plus 2. Negative 4.9 plus 5 plus 2 is going to be 2.1 meters. And finally, the last part of this is how long will it take for each of them to reach the ground. This is going to be a two-part problem because we have two different equations. The first one I'll do for Jasmine on the right side, and that's going to be starting with 0 equals negative 4.9 t squared plus 3t plus 7. I don't really have a better way to do this than the quadratic formula because this is not factorable. So that's going to be negative 3 over 2 times negative 4.9 is negative 9.8. I'm going to do that as a decimal. So it's going to be negative 3 divided by negative 9.8. And we get 0.3 plus or minus the square root of 3 squared is 9 minus 4 times negative 4.9 times 7. And that's going to be all over negative 9.8. 9 minus 4 times negative 4.9 times 7 is going to be 146.2. So we've got 0.3 plus or minus the square root 146.2 divided by negative 9.8. I can take the square root of that, and I get 12.09. 12.09 divided by 9.8 is going to be 1.23. So that's 0.3 plus or minus 1.23 in terms of seconds. You might notice that the minus here doesn't really make much sense. We end up with negative time. So if I add those together, we get 1.53 seconds. And that's Jasmine's time in the air. For Jafar, I'm going to do the same thing. 0 equals negative negative 4.9 t squared plus 5t plus 2. So we use the quadratic formula, and we get negative 5 over negative 9.8 for 2a, plus or minus the square root. 5 squared is 25, minus 4 times negative 4.9 times 2 for 4 times a times c, all over negative 9.8. I'm going to do the calculations for this. Negative 5 over negative 9.8 should be somewhere about a half. That's going to be positive 0.51, plus or minus the square root. 25 minus 4 times negative 4.9 times 2, 64.2 over negative 9.8. Square root of 64.2 is going to be just about 8. Divide by 9.8. We end up with 0.51 plus or minus 0.82. The negative, again, doesn't make sense there, so we're going to add those together, and we get 1.33 seconds. The question at the end of this is who is in the air longer, and because Jasmine is 1.53 seconds and Jafar is 1.33, Jasmine is in the air a little bit longer than Jafar. Big idea here is we set it equal to 0 and use the quadratic formula.